Hello YouTube, and welcome to part 14 of our Realism Overhaul series. Today's mission is going to be to head towards the moon. First things first, let's see if we can secure some more money by seeing what contracts are available. Sure enough, we have 3 lunar ones that look interesting. First is the lunar flyby. So here we just need to get below 5 million meters, so I'll go ahead and pick that up. We have the lunar impactor. Here's where we need to crash something into the moon, so that looks good. And we have lunar orbit. This is establishing any orbit between, with a periapsis between 20 million or 20,000 meters, 20 kilometers, and 5 million meters. So I think we should be able to do this. So I'll accept this guy. And now let's see what else we can do. One thing I'm going to want to do is upgrade the tracking station. This is pretty cheap now that we have $300,000. But I think what that's going to do is let us switch between vessels, select targets, set up maneuver nodes. That's the biggest thing, so that'll be a big help. And let's go to the VAB now and try to start building a rocket that can reach the moon. Alright, first things first, I'm going to want to load up the Echo B. That seems to be the more stable version. Engines don't cut out on us mid-flight. We'll take off this payload fairing. And now I'm thinking I can replace this whole upper section with a little probe. I'm hoping this part will have enough delta V to actually get us to the moon and we can crash this section. And the upper part is what we'll try to get into some sort of orbit. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock the Ranger Block 1 core. That'll give us higher mass limitation for that upper final stage. And I'm going to move these things out of the way and then just throw it on top for now. And now I'm going to make this my root node. There we go. And now we can throw this part away. I'll go ahead and put this antenna back on. Actually, it doesn't want to stick on the top. There we go. And now let's get some solar panels on this. We actually have these new ST2 solar panels. They're the same size as the ST1, but they produce twice as much power. And they weigh just as much. So we'll go ahead and unlock these and throw 6 of these guys on. That looks pretty good. Now we can start throwing the science equipment back on. I don't need 6 of those, I just need 1. So this might actually look better if these were sideways, maybe. Let's try this. There we go, that looks good. Now we can put this guy here. This guy we'll put him over here. And what other science equipment do we need? Let's see, science. We need our thermometer, of course. That guy here. And is this the barometer? Yeah, it is. We have that Geiger counting. Throw that guy over here. I don't know why sometimes they want to go flat and sometimes they want to be angled. Let's see if we can get this guy flat. There we go. And now we can just bring him, offset him down. Same thing with this guy. Now we do have these other pieces of science equipment that we can bring along. Don't think they add too much mass, so let's go ahead and add these guys as well. We'll get some science from these while they're in orbit too with the Earth. They're pretty big. You know what? I might hold off on that till I'm pretty sure we can actually get to the moon. Let's go ahead and move this out of the way, and I'm going to need to add a fuel tank. So we'll get our procedural tank and block that onto the bottom. Now there's this gap here that I don't like, so I'm actually going to offset this guy and reduce his size and make him a bit smaller. Let's see what engines we have. I think I'm just going to use the 1 kilonewton thruster again. There we go. And this is going to take hydrazine. So we need to pressurize this. And add some hydrazine, assuming this doesn't have any more upgrades. Let's check, just double check. Yeah, sure enough, we're still on hydrazine. And this is already over our mass limitation, so we'll need to reduce that. But I do want to put on some RCS thrusters. So we'll just put 4 of these guys on. These are batteries, solar panels. Okay. Got to reduce the mass of this guy, so let's go ahead and bring down the size of this. Drop utilization down. All right. And now we'll put a decoupler on the bottom of this. And we'll make this guy small. And we'll put him right on top of this guy. Now would be a good time to add some struts. And we'll go from the bottom this time. There we go, and now we can see if we take this off, our avionics is still alright. Should probably add some struts for this stage just to make it look more legitimate. There we go. And I think this whole thing works. So let's double check our staging, of course. This won't work. We'll need to put this here, and which decoupler do we have? That's this guy. Put him up in this stage. Now we have over 1400 meters per second at delta V. So I haven't looked at the subway map for real solar system in a while, so I think that's enough to get to the moon, but hopefully it's enough to get in orbit too, we'll see. But we'll go ahead and put our fairing back on. And this is the Echo B booster, but we'll just call this Lunar Finder. Or maybe Moon Finder. Moon Finder, I like that. We will save this guy and build him. Alright, if we look at what's coming up, we've got to recondition the launch pad. And sure enough, our next thing is our comsat, so we should probably go over there and launch one of these things again. Alright, this is going to be a pretty standard launch. Hopefully we don't run into any of the issues that we ran into last time where we forget to change our inclination. A lot of that was due to the fact that this stage cut out early and we lost a lot of delta V, so if all goes well, we should have a good one. So we'll go ahead and go for launch. Alright, confirm full thrust on all the engines. Release the launch clamps. Alright, that was a pretty nice, fairly hands-off ascent to low Earth orbit. Now we're going to be in our coast phase. If you've ever seen a SpaceX launch, they're coming up from here, but they come down and they'll do their burn right in about the same spot that we're going to do our burn, which is right over here, right whenever we cross into the southern hemisphere, or right before that. They're normally going to a geostationary transfer orbit. We're going to go into a, I guess it's still considered lower, maybe medium Earth transfer orbit. But we're going to coast until we're over here and then do another prograde burn. Alright, time to raise our apoapsis up to around 3 million meters. Alright, there we go. Now, of course, I forgot to turn off the this battery, so we do need to transfer some electric charge over there. And I'm running into the issue I had before where this window doesn't open. So we'll just go back to the Space Center and come back here to fix that. Alright, now we're going to set up to do most of our inclination change. We have a lot of delta V to do that now. And I think what I'm going to do is use this AJ10 to do most of our inclination change without changing our periapsis too much. That way it won't take very much to deorbit this guy. Alright, that's pretty good. Now I'll point prograde and boost this guy up a little bit. Plan to use about half my fuel for that, so use 500 meters per second to boost up and then use another 500 to boost down. Alright, that gets us pretty close, and this should have enough delta V to deorbit. And my inclination is low this time, so that's a lot better than last time. We'll probably leave it at this orbit for a bit while we get this satellite synchronized with the other one that's out there. But first step is I'm going to want to re-enable this battery so I can control this guy. Tell this guy to start pointing retrograde. Make sure this fuel state is stable, which it is. Alright, we will separate. Get this guy out of the way. Switch over. Lock him retrograde. And we'll burn away. Perfect, this is now on a suborbital trajectory, so we don't need to worry about space debris, and can't switch yet, but our other guy is set up to get himself in a good orbit relative to the other satellites, so we'll see if we can't take care of that right now. Alright, here's our comsat. Alright, let's take a look at the map. Here's our comsat that failed. Here's our comsat that's in good working order. So it would help if I could set this guy as a target, because then I could open up a window here that had some target info, but I think I still need to unlock the tracking station to do that. I would need to do that to really come up with, you know, the orbital periods, and that way I could synchronize these guys' orbital periods. But for the meantime, I think I can go ahead and reduce this guy's inclination at least a little bit more. And then we'll wait for that tracking station to be upgraded before we actually try to synchronize these guys. So we'll wait for my latitude to drop down to the equator. We can see that we're going north, so we'll need to point south. It's going to be anti-normal. Alright, tell us pointing the anti-normal direction. Of course, enable RCS. Go ahead and stage that engine. And when this drops to about 4 seconds worth, we'll go ahead and fire up the engine. Alright, that's really close. We should probably use RCS to do any fine-tuning adjustments, so we'll go ahead and warp to where this is 0 now. And just use RCS thrusters to reduce our inclination down to 0. Alright, that looks pretty good. And it looks like we'll have plenty of delta V to circularize our orbit later. So this is probably a good stopping point for now, so till then, see you next time.